This is the Nikon SB-800 flash unit. It is a professional grade flash from Nikon. It is now considered a legacy unit since it's no longer in production. But, you know, up until about 4 years ago, it was pretty much top of the line. It features a rotating head, it's also adjustable, of course. You can point down slightly. Okay, you can see it's made in Japan. It has an AF assist beam here. If we open up this other little cap on the front, you can actually install external power if you're working in a studio and you're using it a lot. It helps it refresh faster. In this little spot here we have the onboard meter, so it can take pictures based on its own metering instead of using through the lens metering of a normal camera. Here we have the battery bay. It takes 4 AA batteries. I use rechargeables. They refresh faster and you don't have to keep throwing batteries up. On the bottom we have the hot shoe for mounting onto a DSLR or other supporting Nikon camera. You just have a lock knob there which locks it onto your camera. The next major set, at the back we have the on-off switch. Near the flash makes a fair bit of noise when it turns on. You can hopefully hear it powering up there. It does have a fair bit of buzz. On this side here we have PC sync ports, which are kind of a pain to put the cover back on, but it's there. Okay, so on the back here we can see several buttons. There's the on-off switch, there's the flashlight. When you press the flashlight, the flash fires. Bam. Okay. Next up we have the zoom keys. The flash zooms between 24 and 105 millimeters. The up and down buttons are for changing the aperture settings on the flash. It goes from f1.4 and up. I normally leave that around f4. If it's mounted on the camera, it does it automatically. If you're shooting in manual, when you're working wirelessly, you might need to set that. Generally speaking, you don't. Over here we have the mode button, which switches between TTL, aperture priority, and manual modes. The manual settings are pretty easy to change. You just move the plus and minus buttons to achieve the desired effect. When you press and hold the select button, you bring up the menu system of the camera. You can set the default ISO speed of the flash. I normally just leave it at 200. It automatically picks up when you're on a camera. Next you have the wireless flash controls. You can set it to master, so it will control other speed lights. And you have master repeating, which means it allows for continuous shooting. Remote, is the next setting. That's for when you want to use this commanded by another unit. So say you have multiple flashes and you have a commander either on your camera or on another flash. So that's Nikon Creative Lighting System Control. The next one's SU4. In SU4 mode, the flash can be triggered wirelessly by any flash gun. I have used this with multiple cameras, non-Nikon, Nikon. Triggered it with pop-up flashes on point and shoots, all kinds of stuff. It works if that's what you need. It's really great if you need additional light with a third-party flash and you don't want to buy a bunch of extra flashes. In master mode, you just press the button again. You see the setup here allows you to set the different settings of each flash. So whether you want them master, that's this flash, so you can tell it what you want. Then you have TTL, which tells you the metering mode, so that can be set to any one of those modes that I talked about earlier. And then you have the power settings, and the SB-800 can set up to 3 groups in addition to the master. And you can have multiple flashes on a single group, which is really great. Here you have the channel settings and all your other stuff. Press the SEL button again to change your settings. In remote mode, see it's slightly different. I have it set not to tell me when the flash is activated, just because I find it annoying. Here you set your channel and your group. So this is all based on what group you want the flash operating on from the master, whether it be the camera or another flash. And again, you can change your zoom settings, etc. And you hold the select button again to get back into the menu. SU4 doesn't really look all that different. It just says remote and whatever speed settings you activate. You can change that manually if you're in manual. Otherwise, you just have aperture manual in SU4 mode. Going back to the normal on-camera flash settings, the other choices are AA or A. I'm not quite sure. I've never used that, so I don't really know. You can set the standby time. This is in seconds. Meter or feet, it's pretty obvious. Manual zoom on or off when you're using the on camera. You can change the contrast of the screen. I just leave it at the default. You can decide whether you want the backlight to always be on or not. You can decide whether the AF assist beam is on or off. And you can choose whether the flash fires or not. If you just want to use, that's for if you just want to use the AF assist beam in low light conditions. So yeah, that's pretty much the walkthrough of the flash. The one thing I didn't really touch on at all, there's one other button on the camera, on the flash, that I didn't talk about, and that's this one. That's the modeling light, which as long as you press it, the flash fires. Here's the actual flash head itself. I also forgot to mention before, there's a built-in diffuser. The flash originally comes with another diffuser which snaps on the front, and here you have a white balance card for putting spotlights in people's eyes and stuff like that. And here's some quick tips on how to use the flash itself, which is kind of convenient. So yeah, that's pretty much the story of the SB-800. It's a pretty reliable flash. I've had this unit since 2009. Haven't had any problems. You can take a lot of pictures before the flash starts to overheat and forces you to shut down. So yeah, I mean, I'm talking like a couple hundred shots. The one thing you will notice if you're using a lot of power is like, and I just want to show this because it's kind of an annoying thing, and you'll hear this. There's a lot of noise when it needs to recycle the flash to recharge, and it can take a decent amount of time to do it too. So just keep an eye on that, and you know, use lower flash power when you can, and you know, it recycles a lot faster. You can hear that buzzing going on when it recharges. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about this. So, really nice flash.